Greetings Terrarians, Khaios here, and welcome to the channel's 100,000 subscriber special. I can't thank you all enough for joining me here for this milestone, especially anybody who's here right now participating in the live chat. Thank you and welcome. It's hard to believe that only a year and a half ago I uploaded my very first video. In that time, the channel has taken off much faster than I could have ever dreamed, and none of that would have been possible without the amazing community gathering around the channel. It's truly been a pleasure interacting with all of you in the comment section and over on the Discord server. Thank you all very much for helping grow the channel. Today, I'm going to be building a castle dedicated to all of you in celebration of the channel reaching this amazing milestone. But the milestone is not the only thing special about this castle. I'll keep you guessing for now, and I'll talk about it towards the end of the video. In this video, I will be talking about my plans for the Journey's End update, answering your questions in a Q&A segment, and talking about what is so special about this castle. So let's get started on the build. Off camera, I've prepared a large stone box to build the castle on. I want this to be sitting on top of a small cliffside, so I thought it'd be best to start off with a flat box and then carve it out to make it look like natural cliffs. On top of it, I'll be building the center focal point of the castle, which will be a gigantic tree, and I want this tree to look like it's straight out of a fantasy. In fact, the castle will have a lot of nature in it. I want it to feel like it's overrun with growth, but not like it's in ruins, more like that it's just flourishing in life. So while I get started on the cliff, foundation, and tree, let's talk about 1.4. There are only a few weeks remaining before the Journey's End update releases, and I have several behind-the-scenes projects going on that I can't wait to share with you all, but I'll talk about those more when the time is right. While I work on those, however, I'll continue with only 1 or 2 videos a week on the channel until the update comes out. Once the update is out, however, I'll be focusing all of my effort on getting as many clear and informative 1.4 videos to you as possible, with the goal being daily. At first, I'm going to focus on tutorials and informational videos before getting back to large-scale building, but I'm also highly considering streaming 1 or 2 days a week with a playthrough of 1.4. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in watching. After the update has been out for 2 weeks or so, I'll move back to a more normal schedule. If you're interested in the live stream, I will continue that weekly until the playthrough is complete, and I will also start bringing back larger build videos and time lapses. I even want to bring back a few older series from the channel that I hadn't completed yet, like editing subscriber worlds and Project Ghost. I'm very excited to get into everything around 1.4 and to continue old projects as well as start some new ones. Last week, during my previous video, I asked you all for some questions that you would have for a Q&A segment in this video. You all blew me away with how many questions you had, and I was expecting somewhere between 20 to 30 of them, but we got nearly 150. Now there's no way I can answer all of them without making this video hours long, so what I ended up doing was randomly picking 30 of the Q&A comments for me to answer. The first question comes from Kian Scott, who asks, "How old are you?" I know I get a lot of mixed guesses on this question. Some of you guys think that I'm in my teens or early 20s, and some of you think I'm in my 40s or 50s. Actually, I'm 32 years old and I'll be turning 33 in September. I Am Cheeseman asks, "Will you be answering this question?" Thanks to the power of RNG, apparently I will. JRH109 has a few questions and would like to know, how often do I play Terraria? Am I going to make a Minecraft building series, and how am I doing this fine day? For the first question, I play Terraria 5 to 7 days a week, but you have to remember this channel is my job and the channel focuses on Terraria. As for the second question, I'm highly considering doing a Minecraft series on the channel. I am still fairly new to Minecraft, as I haven't really played it since the beta, but I do enjoy building in 3D, so I'd like to try it out on the channel someday. Let me know in the comments if you'd prefer a survival playthrough, a creative one, or no Minecraft. And for the final question, I'm doing great today. I'm very happy to be here with all of you celebrating this milestone, and I hope you all are having a good time as well. The next question comes from Grayson, who would like to know how long I've been playing Terraria. I've been playing it on and off for about 7 years now. I purchased the game in March of 2013 and I played it for a bit, but honestly it didn't really appeal to me a whole lot, so I stopped playing it until later that year when the 1.2 update dropped, which sounded pretty interesting to me. I checked it out, fell in love with the update, and I've stuck around ever since. Shoe Salad asks, what got you into building? Did you used to build in Minecraft? What vanity do you use? Is it vanilla? And what dye do you use? So I really started to get into building a couple of years after I started playing Terraria. I was a lurker on the old forums back when they were on a website called Terraria Online. I had seen some builds shared around the internet made by Ghoststar, who is now the official builder for Relogic. I can't recall if she was working for Relogic at that time, however. At any rate, after seeing her builds, I started to look at Terraria in a new way. I started looking at it from a building perspective rather than just killing bosses, and I'd say that's when I started getting into building. For the second question, I did build in Minecraft, but that was only up until the beta. I never got into the full release, and I never got as good at building in Minecraft as I did with Terraria. And I think that I can include both the third and fourth questions into one answer. I use several different vanity sets, all of which have different pieces and dyes, except they all keep the spooky helm because I've kind of made it a staple of my avatar. Rather than list all of the vanities in the video verbally, I'm actually going to have them all already detailed on my Discord server, and there will be a link to that server in the description below, so you could check it out there, or you could just pause the video and check them out now. Ferrix16 asks, what made you do YouTube videos and why is Terraria your favorite game? I'll start by answering that second question first. I love Terraria because how many different things you can do with building. Since the addition of paints and block shaping, the possibilities have become nearly endless, and that is extremely appealing to me. As for YouTube, I've had a few reasons and inspirations for getting into it. A close friend of mine named Jestix was very supportive and had always encouraged me to make an adventure map. Sadly, he took his life in 2017, and at that point I had decided to actually make the adventure map to honor his memory. So I set off on making the map, and it took around a year, and when the map was finally completed, I wanted to have a trailer video for it. I wasn't sure at that time if I wanted to go fully into the world of YouTube or not, but I had a lot of advice and inspiration from other Terraria YouTubers. One huge reason I got into YouTube was because of Fury Forged, who I consider myself lucky enough to call a friend today. I wouldn't be here now without his inspiration. Speaking of Fury, his channel is also on the cusp of hitting 100,000 subscribers. In fact, at the time of recording this, he is only 400 subscribers away. It would really mean a lot to me if you could pass on my appreciation to him by helping him hit 100,000. He has an amazing sense of humor, and his videos are really top-notch and a lot of fun to watch. Moving on to the next question from Bebojo, who is curious of how many hours I have in Terraria. As of today, I have 6,567 hours, but remember, I do this for a living, so that means I play the game a lot. Snort on Cat asks if I knew Chippy before working on the Journey's End trailer with him. I had spoken to him a few times prior to the trailer when I had asked him for some beginner's advice for YouTube, and I want to give him a massive thank you for responding to me, considering I wasn't even on his radar back then. But I didn't really get to know him or consider him a friend until we spent weeks working together hashing that trailer out. Arctic Wolf is curious where I live and where I'm from. I was born in Texas, though I have moved around a fair bit throughout my life, and I'm currently living in Washington State, though I won't be here forever either. The End of the Start, who is, by the way, one of my awesome channel members, asks, when did you start making builds, and were they always as amazing as they are now? Well, I sort of covered the when part earlier, though I can't pin an exact date on it. But my builds were definitely not as good as they are now. I started off by making dirt and wood boxes just like almost everybody else does. And when I actually got into trying to build, even then they weren't that good because I didn't really know any styles, techniques, or materials. I feel like this is something that constantly evolves and improves though, and even my builds from a year ago don't feel as good as the ones that I make today, and I suspect my builds today won't be as good as the ones that I make a year from now. Bent's Sorry asks, how long did it take to learn building? I'll let you know when I've learned. Seriously though, jokes aside, I think there is always something new to learn, some way to improve, and some way to evolve. It's taken me years to get where I'm at in building now, and I will continue to learn and change as I keep playing the game, and I think that's the way that it should be. Pablo the Guy would like to know what my favorite world is and why. I'd probably say it's my Harbinger adventure map. It's not a perfect map by any means, it's difficult and unforgiving, and it takes way too long to complete the adventure. But it was my first adventure map, and the year that it took to create was a huge learning process where I learned a lot about Terraria by making it, and I even kickstarted my YouTube career off of it. Plus, it was a tribute to my friend Jestex, which is why that map will always be special to me. Rob Rubinaccio wonders if I'll be starting 1.4 with a fresh start or an OP character. Well, it's going to be a bit of both really. As I said earlier, the early on 1.4 videos will be mostly tutorials and informational videos, which could mean an OP character. But I also plan on streaming a fresh playthrough as well, as long as you all want to see it. I won't be looking at Master Mode right away, but I do want to attempt it eventually, and that will also be on a fresh character as well, and possibly with some friends to help carry me because I'm not that great at combat. Being a beta tester though, I've already seen all of this content, so it's not so much about flying through to learn it for myself, and it's more about how best to show all the content to you all. The next question comes from Overseer, who asks what my preferred building theme is. I love building in the medieval theme personally, and it's why you see it so often in my videos, including this one here today, but I do enjoy other themes as well, and I do try to mix them into the channel for variety. Loopy asks, why do you hate the guide? Well, I don't really. In my early days of playing Terraria, the guide would do things like block chests, and you couldn't open them when he was standing in front of it, and he would also open doors at night and leave them open. Yes, all the other NPCs would do that too. However, the guide wasn't really useful to me, so I always ended up locking him away in some faraway box away from my base so he couldn't get in my way. When I got into building a little bit better than just wooden boxes, eventually that evolved into me putting him into prisons, and now that has evolved into the channel meme where we kill each other. Though I certainly did hate him this morning after how long he made me spend to get that intro recorded. I seriously spent like 45 minutes trying to get that perfect. Lucas Grant asks, face reveal when? Not today. Executor would like to know if I have a girlfriend and how we got together. I do. Cheesy Panini and I are actually in a relationship together, and we've been together for nearly 6 months now. We got to know each other through YouTube when we started a collaboration series called Terraria. That turned into a friendship, and she helped me through some of the roughest times in my life, including my divorce. Months after that, our friendship blossomed into something more, and now we're together. The next question is from Alex Mezaros, who wonders how long I'll be making videos after 1.4 releases. Journey's End might be the final update for Terraria, but it's just the beginning for me. I will be continuing on YouTube for as long as I'm able to, for as long as you guys want to watch my content, and I feel like I'm just getting started. Moral Does Stuff would like to know how it felt when I hit 100,000 subscribers. Very shocking, actually. When I proposed the challenge to hit the milestone before 1.4, I didn't expect it to happen a day later. Chippy Gaming absolutely blew my mind with his shoutout, helping us reach that goal in such a short amount of time, and I thank all of you once again for joining the community. Flame Ferret asks what my favorite non-Terraria game is. That's a difficult question to answer. I have a lot of favorite games, and it tends to change over time. I'd say my favorite childhood game was probably The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, while my favorite more modern day game is probably The Witcher 3 because it has phenomenal story and character writing. Longtime subscriber FBI82 wonders what happened to Project Ghost. For those of you who are here that are newer to the channel, Project Ghost is an older video series that I had on the channel where I was building race courses. These races were centered around a unique mechanic that I discovered on accident while I was recording a video's outro. I never revealed what that mechanic was. Unfortunately, all of my testing and building was done in single player, and the mechanic doesn't quite work the same way as it does in multiplayer. That said, I'm going to try and redesign the race courses and revive Project Ghost after 1.4 releases. Awesome Austin is curious what I think Journey Mode is. Well, I actually know exactly what Journey Mode is because I'm a beta tester for the update, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. Rest assured though, one of my first videos on the channel when the update comes out will be talking about exactly what that game mode is. Oscar Nieves asks, on average, how long do I spend on builds? And that really does vary depending on what the project is. For small projects like maybe a time-lapse video, I'll spend an average of 3 hours on the build. For the larger projects like Chippy's Birthday Castle, I can spend upwards of 24 hours on the build, and I average several days worth of gameplay hours for massive projects like adventure maps. The game artist would like to know what I do when I'm not working on Terraria videos. Usually, I'll play with or walk my dog Shino. I also play games like Don't Starve Together with Cheesy Panini and my friends. And if we weren't in a lockdown right now, I'd also spend time with my grandparents and my parents, and I also enjoy other video games, and I have a lot of fun bowling. Sebastian Ungar asks if I've ever built with Legos, and yes, I was absolutely obsessed with Legos when I was a kid. I had a gigantic tub of Legos that I'd play with on a daily basis, and it was a huge passion of mine. Sadly, I don't own any more of them though, because one day I was out of town for a school band competition, and my family's cat had peed in the Lego container, and my mom ended up throwing the entire collection away. I was very sad when I got home from that trip. While I haven't played with Legos in nearly 2 decades now, if I ever have kids, I'd love to get them into it, and of course I'll play with them myself. Burke Doyle asks, what do you expect for your channel? Do you want to hit 1 million subscribers? And what are your hopes for this channel? Well, my expectations for the channel evolve as my channel grows. Originally, I thought I'd only be at around 2,000 subscribers after my first year, and I never expected to make this into a job. Now, however, I'm able to work full-time on YouTube, so obviously the expectations should change. For the future, I expect to keep making videos as long as you all are interested in watching them. While hitting 1 million subscribers would be amazing, I don't think it's a realistic goal for the channel. I don't know if we'll hit it, but given the size of other Terraria channels, I don't expect to hit it at all. All I hope for the future of this channel is to continue fostering an amazing community, and so far that's exactly what's happening. You all really are phenomenal. The next question is from TRM Plays, who would like to know if I would ever do a modded playthrough with Chippy. I think both of us would really enjoy a playthrough like that, but honestly, I don't think it's ever going to happen. With me living in the US and James living in the UK, it's difficult for us to line up our schedules to work together. We can manage it for small projects and for one-episode collaborations, but anything long-running like a Let's Play will probably not be realistic for us, as much fun as that would be. Keen Bob comes in with a slew of questions, and I'm not going to give you my social security number, nice try. So I'll pick a few of these questions. Let's go with, what video are you most proud of, what is your real name, and your favorite NPC? My real name is James. It's actually listed on the credits for the console and mobile versions of Terraria. It's within the beta tester segment, so many of you might already know my name. My favorite NPC is the Steampunker, because not only does she look really interesting, but she gives me access to my absolute favorite furniture set in the game. And the video that I'm most proud of is the one where I was scammed out of a build by a retracted donation and a commission. I'm not proud that it happened, of course, for obvious reasons, and I've learned my lesson since then, but I was seriously going to completely quit Terraria and YouTube entirely after that happened. I was very, very depressed after that happened. I was going to give up on the community and move on to something else, but instead, I made a video out of it, and you all came together and showed me how truly amazing and supportive this community is, despite the actions of a few people. Because it turned such a terrible, depressing situation into such an uplifting, positive one, I'm extremely proud of that video, and more so, I'm extremely proud of this community. For the next question, Ratify would like to know how I came up with the name Khaios. Well, actually I didn't. I don't even know how it's supposed to be pronounced. This name was randomly generated from a game that I played years ago, and friends that I had made in that game started calling me Khaios, and eventually it just stuck and it grew on me. So I'm kind of attached to it now. The final question comes from Extreme Pain, who asks, how do you get the shots that don't follow your character? There are a couple of different ways to do this. For one, Heroes Mod can lock the camera in place and allow you to move your character around freely, or it can keep your character in place and allow you to move the camera around freely. I don't use that often, however, because the camera moves incredibly fast and it, in my opinion, doesn't make the video look very good. Normally, I use a hardcore character ghost to record those segments, and this can be done in vanilla without using any mods at all. When a hardcore character dies, they become a ghost, and that ghost can float through blocks without emitting light. Using a texture pack, you can delete the sprite of the ghost to make it completely invisible, so essentially, I turn my hardcore character ghost into a free flying camera. Whew, that was a really long question and answer segment, and I thank you all very much for making it this far into the video, so let's wrap up by talking about exactly what this castle is for. So I'm not going to be making this world save available for download, and this build isn't even going to be complete today. There is one big reason for this. You see, this castle will actually be the spawn location and central hub for my own dedicated Terraria server. Now, I need to say right away that hiring staff for the server and paying for the server upkeep will be pretty expensive, and I cannot yet afford it. But I have decided that this is something that will happen someday. It's something that I really want to happen someday. And this castle will be converted into the main hub for that server. I need to make it perfectly clear that this won't happen for some time. You might not even see it happen in 2020 or even 2021, but I do want to make this dream a reality. So I wanted to thank each and every one of you very much for joining me today for this special milestone video. I can't believe we hit 100K so quickly, and I can't thank you enough for how much it truly means to me to have all of your support. I can't ask for a better job or a better community. You all really are the backbone of this channel, and here's to the next 100,000 together, and I look forward to celebrating that milestone with you all. For now, one more time, thank you all very much for watching, and a massive thank you to everybody who's been able to help support my channel through Patreon and YouTube memberships. It's because of you that I'm able to keep a roof over my head and keep focusing on YouTube during these rough times, so thank you very, very much. I'll catch you all later with a new video next week, and I can't wait to see where we go next. 1.4 hype, happy building.